The Golden State Warriors are once again standing at a dangerous crossroads, and this time, it's not about Steph Curry's health or Draymond Green's temper, it's about Jonathan Kuminga. The 22-year-old forward, one of the brightest young talents on this roster, is now at the center of a contract standoff that could shake the entire franchise. What seemed like a routine negotiation has now turned into a ticking time bomb that threatens to explode right before training camp. Just a few days ago, Cam Thomas of the Brooklyn Nets made a bold move by accepting his qualifying offer, a short-term deal worth $6 million. That decision shocked the NBA world because it gave Thomas full control of his future as an unrestricted free agent next summer. And now, all eyes are on Kuminga, who finds himself in a similar situation. Reports are surfacing that he's leaning toward accepting his own $7.9 million qualifying offer with Golden State, and if that happens, the ripple effects could be devastating for the Warriors. Why is this such a big deal? Because signing the qualifying offer would mean Kuminga only stays with Golden State for one more season, then walks into unrestricted free agency in 2026, free to sign with any team, and the Warriors wouldn't get a single thing in return. Imagine losing a player you drafted 7th overall in 2021, developed for years, watched blossom into a two-way threat, only to let him leave for nothing. That's the nightmare scenario Golden State is staring at. The tension between Kuminga and the Warriors has been building quietly, but now it's impossible to ignore. According to league insiders, negotiations have hit a standstill. The Warriors reportedly offered him a 2-year, $45 million deal with a player option. On paper, that sounds solid, but Kuminga's camp isn't satisfied. For him, this isn't just about the money, it's about respect, trust, and whether he's truly viewed as part of the franchise's long-term future. Right now, he doesn't feel that way. And honestly, can you blame him? Let's rewind. Kuminga had his best season yet in 2024-25, posting career highs in scoring, improving his efficiency, and showing flashes of being a legitimate two-way star. On a team that missed the playoffs and looked out of sync, Kuminga was one of the few bright spots. Fans could see it, teammates respected it, and opposing coaches noticed it. Yet despite all that, the front office still seems hesitant to fully commit. Instead of locking him in as a cornerstone, they're trying to play it safe with a short-term deal. And here's the catch. If Kuminga signs the qualifying offer, he gains something crucial: control. That one-year deal comes with a built-in no-trade clause, which means the Warriors can't move him at the deadline without his permission. For a player who doesn't want to be treated like a trade chip, that's powerful leverage. Kuminga knows this. He knows the franchise could easily dangle him in a mid-season deal if he signs a long-term contract now. Accepting the QO gives him the steering wheel. But control comes with risk. If he bets on himself and signs the one-year deal, he has to stay healthy, stay in the rotation, and play at a breakout level. Otherwise, his market could cool off fast. And let's not forget, head coach Steve Kerr benched him during crucial moments of last season's playoff push. If that happens again, Kuminga could find himself in a lose-lose situation: no extension, no big minutes, and no guaranteed money in the future. That's the gamble. And both sides know it. The Warriors front office, on the other hand, is terrified of a different outcome. If Kuminga takes the qualifying offer, he essentially turns this entire season into a one-year audition, for himself and for the Warriors. If he dominates, rival teams will circle like sharks next summer with massive offers. If he underperforms, Golden State loses leverage and risks fracturing its already fragile locker room chemistry. Either way, it's a storm brewing in the Bay. Think about the bigger picture here. The dynasty era that gave us 4 championships is fading. Steph Curry is still great, but he's 37. Draymond Green is slowing down. Klay Thompson is already gone. The only real path forward is investing in young talent, and Kuminga is supposed to be at the heart of that. If the Warriors fumble this negotiation and let him slip away, it sends a clear message: they're still clinging to the past instead of building for the future. And that's where the locker room dynamics get messy. Kuminga is well liked by his teammates, and many of them believe he deserves a bigger role. If the front office continues to undervalue him, it could create resentment, not just from Kuminga but from other young players who are watching closely. How committed is Golden State really to its next generation? Or is this just another case of management protecting cap space at the cost of talent? Meanwhile, other teams are waiting patiently. Make no mistake, front offices across the league are monitoring this situation. If Kuminga becomes available, either through trade talks during the season or in free agency next summer, he won't be short on suitors. Imagine a team like the Spurs or Magic adding his athleticism to their young cores. Imagine a contender willing to throw him a bigger role and a fat contract. If he walks, Golden State could end up regretting it for years. Here's the brutal truth: the Warriors don't have much time left. Training camp is right around the corner. If they don't sweeten the offer or find a sign-and-trade deal, this story could dominate the headlines all season long. For a franchise already trying to recover from missing the playoffs, the last thing they need is drama hanging over their most promising young player. At the end of the day, Kuminga just wants to feel valued. And right now, Golden State isn't giving him that. The ball is in the Warriors' court, but the clock is ticking. Either they commit to Kuminga as part of the future, or they risk losing him forever. And if you're wondering why this matters so much, it's simple. Losing Jonathan Kuminga for nothing wouldn't just be a roster mistake. It would be a defining failure of the post-dynasty era. The Golden State Warriors are facing a storm on two fronts, one about the future and one about the past. On one side, Jonathan Kuminga's contract standoff has exposed cracks in the organization's vision. On the other, Klay Thompson's heartfelt reflections have reminded everyone what once made this franchise untouchable. Together, these stories reveal just how fragile Golden State's present moment really is. Let's start with Kuminga. Young, gifted, and hungry, he's the type of player every rebuilding team dreams of keeping. Yet here we are, just weeks before training camp, and he remains unsigned. Reports suggest he's seriously considering accepting his $7.9 million qualifying offer, a short-term deal that would give him full control of his future in 2026. For Golden State, that's the nightmare scenario, losing a former top pick for nothing. The problem runs deeper than just money. Some executives in the Warriors front office want to lock Kuminga down now, fearing his price will skyrocket if he breaks out this season. Others remain hesitant, pointing to his inconsistent role in past playoff runs. That internal tug-of-war has left negotiations frozen. And while Golden State hesitates, rival teams are already circling. Several franchises are preparing cap space for 2026, believing Kuminga could headline free agency if he hits the open market. This isn't happening in isolation. Young teammates like Moses Moody, Brandon Podziemski, and Trace Jackson-Davis are watching closely. How the Warriors treat Kuminga could shape how they view their own futures in San Francisco. Even veterans may start to question if the front office truly has a plan for life after Steph Curry. With Klay Thompson already gone and Draymond Green slowing down, Golden State's words about building for the future mean nothing if their actions show otherwise. And that brings us to Klay. For the first time since leaving, Thompson opened up about what it meant to play alongside Steph Curry. Speaking with rare honesty, he described the birth of the Splash Brothers nickname, how it began in his second year after he and Steph rained threes in bunches, and how it quickly became bigger than basketball. It wasn't just a label, it was a symbol of precision, chemistry, and an era that changed the sport forever. Despite the bitter ending with Golden State, Klay's gratitude was unmistakable. He spoke proudly of the 4 championships, the 6 finals runs, and the legacy he and Steph built together. "It was a moment in time," Klay said, "and I'll always be proud to have been part of it." This Christmas, Warriors fans will witness something surreal: Steph and Klay facing each other as opponents for the first time. It won't just be another game. It will be a reunion drenched in history, respect, and nostalgia, a reminder of everything Golden State once stood for. So here we are. A franchise caught between its golden memories and an uncertain future. Jonathan Kuminga represents what's next. Klay Thompson embodies what's gone. And unless the Warriors fully commit to their young core, they risk losing not only a rising star but also the trust that once defined their dynasty. Klay Thompson's departure from Golden State wasn't just a roster change, it was the end of an era. The breakup of the Splash Brothers, after more than a decade of dominance, felt almost unthinkable. But in today's NBA, even legends don't always get a storybook farewell. Now, Klay has embraced a fresh start with the Dallas Mavericks, a team hungry to compete in the West. Still, he admits the adjustment is surreal. "It's strange, man," Klay said. "Waking up and not going to chase, not sharing the floor with Steph, Draymond, Looney. That's going to take some getting used to." For Warriors fans, emotions remain mixed. Murals of Klay cover San Francisco walls. Number 11 jerseys are still everywhere, worn as a badge of loyalty to a dynasty that shaped a generation. His legacy in the Bay is untouchable: 4 rings, Game 6 heroics, and countless memories etched into history. In Dallas, Klay enters a new role alongside Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. With defenses focused elsewhere, Thompson has the chance to rediscover his rhythm as a clutch shooter, disciplined defender, and culture setter. Early signs from Mavericks camp suggest he's rejuvenated, ready to write a new chapter critics didn't see coming. Meanwhile, Golden State is shifting. Without Klay, the Warriors are leaning heavily on youth: Podziemski, Moody, and Kuminga, while Steph and Draymond fight to keep the culture alive. But the emotional void left by Klay is bigger than just shooting. It's about loyalty, leadership, and familiarity. December 25th will bring a historic reunion. Klay, in a Mavericks jersey, stepping onto the Chase Center floor against Steph. Expect cheers, tears, and a tribute that reminds everyone, once a Splash Brother, always a Splash Brother. Has stalled on new signings while negotiating his future, and that hesitation may cost them Malcolm Brogdon. Once considered a perfect fit for the Warriors, Brogdon is now expected to land with the Minnesota Timberwolves. If that happens, it could spark a domino effect, pushing other free agents like Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton away from Golden State. Minnesota, meanwhile, is quietly building something real. With Anthony Edwards emerging as a superstar, the Wolves have doubled down on continuity, re-signing Naz Reid and Julius Randle, and now circling Brogdon to bolster their perimeter defense. His arrival could ease Edwards' workload and make the Wolves one of the most balanced rotations in the West. The Warriors, on the other hand, look stuck between timelines. Their dynasty core is aging. Steph is 37, Draymond just turned 35, and Klay is gone. Younger players like Kuminga want bigger roles but feel stifled in a system built around fading stars. Losing Kuminga would not only strip them of future potential, but also send a troubling message to the league about their ability to develop talent. Across the NBA, rivals are moving aggressively: OKC, Dallas, Houston, Minnesota. Golden State is hesitating. And with every day that passes, the window for Steph Curry's last title run grows smaller.